Welcome to Localize. This video will walk you through the process of using strings files in Xcode to localize your iOS apps. If you haven't already, you'll need to set up a project in Localize like I have here. I've set up a 2-page demo app with a few strings in my Xcode project. And here we see the app running in the simulator in the source language of English. In order to localize the text in your project, it can't be hard-coded in your design elements. It must be moved into a Localizable.strings file in your project. Doing this will allow us to make a separate copy of the file for each target language we support. To create a Localizable.strings file, right-click on the project folder and select New File. Type strings in the filter, select the strings file, then select Next. Enter Localizable for the file name, then select Create. This will create the file in your project. This is where you will add the key value pairs for all strings in your app. The key will be used to identify the string, and the value will contain the actual text to be displayed in your app. Let's find all of the hard-coded text in my demo app and move it to the Localizable.strings file. First, I'll copy the text for the welcome message. Create a key for the string that's unique across all of the text and UI elements in your app. It's a best practice to use camel case for your key. Replace the hard-coded text with the key name. Do this for all of the text in your app that you want to translate. Next, we'll need to create a Localizable.strings file for each target language that you will be supporting. Click on the Localizable.strings file and look for the Localization section. Click the Localize button. This sets up the current language of English as the source or base language of the project. Next, we need to add a target language to our project. Click on the project name in the Project Navigator. Then click on the project name in the project editor. Click on the plus sign in the localization section. Find your language in the list and select it. Then click Finish. You'll see in the project navigator that you now have multiple copies of the Localizable.strings file, one for each language. Next, we'll want to get our source language strings into Localize so that we can translate all of the phrases. Right-click on the Localizable.strings file that contains your source language strings and select Show in Finder. Return to your project in the Localize dashboard. Select the File, Import, Export option. Select Import. Drag and drop the Localizable.strings file into the box. Then select the iOS strings file type. Select your source language. Select phrases for the import type. Click Submit. You'll see a success pop-up after the file has been imported. Select Manage Phrases to see the newly imported phrases. This will generate machine language translations of the phrases in your target language. If you want to order human translations for your phrases, you can do that right from the Localize dashboard in the Orders page. Or you can invite translators to your project in Localize. For this demo, I'll be using only machine translations. Select the File, Import, Export option. Select Export. Then select the iOS strings file type. Select Publish Translations. Select your target language. Select phrases for the export type. Then select Export. Before saving, rename it to be Localizable.strings. Back in Xcode, right-click on the Localizable.strings file for the target language and select Show in Finder. Copy the Localizable.strings file that contains the translations into the target language folder, overwriting the existing file. Now let's see our translations in action. We'll run our app to see our translations in the simulator. To change to our target language in the simulator, we'll close our app and open Settings on the phone. Select General, then Language and Region, then select Other Languages. Search for your target language and select Change. Close the Settings app and bring up the Demo app. And here we see our translations running in our app. As content changes in your app in the future, simply repeat the relevant parts of the process above. You can also integrate Localize into your build process by writing scripts that make RESTful HTTP requests using the Localize backend API for the import and export of localization files, and much more. See our extensive documentation at help.localizejs.com/reference. You may also use our npm module at localize/node, a node-based wrapper for Localize's backend API. You can also use the Localize CLI, which uses a simple push-pull paradigm to push content into Localize and then pull out the translations. Read about the CLI at help.localizejs.com/docs/localize-CLI. Happy localizing, and let us know if you need help getting started with this workflow by contacting us at support@localizejs.com.